Hello everyone, how are you today? This is part 3 of my Making a Laser Tank for Dungeons and Dragons series using the Vehicle Construction Kit. So far we have added a structure and a laser turret and some power systems to the tank, and today we're going to be adding the motive systems. For this I'll be using the VCK supplement called Landcraft. Inside Landcraft, there is a component called continuous track. So this is your tank treads. One requirement of continuous track is that we have a heavy drivetrain. So let's head over there first. It's under powertrain components. So as it says here, a heavy drivetrain provides all the gearing and transmission required for continuous track, half track, or screw pontoon components. The tank is a Mass 7 vehicle. And I've just noticed now there's no futuristic column on the cost table, but the intention is you would use the modern cost. So we'll stick in a heavy drivetrain, and it costs 40,000 gold coins. Let's put it in slot 7. Heavy drivetrain. We need more information. Let's have a look. So drivetrains have a transmission rating. And from this table, a futuristic heavy drivetrain at Mass 7 has a transmission rating of 4. What that means is the maximum number of power points you can allocate to the drivetrain is 4 power points. So put here rating 4 power points. There's a few other things here to note down with the drivetrain. Land thrust is power points times 15. So assuming that we're going to allocate all 4 power points to the drivetrain, that will give us a land thrust of 60. We'll note that down here. So let's have a look at the continuous track next. For a Mass 7 vehicle, each continuous track costs 2,000 gold coins. Now, we could just put one continuous track in, but the idea with wheels and tracks is that the more slots have them, the better your off-road speed is. And for a main battle tank, we want 3 or 4. So we're going to fill up all the remaining slots with continuous track. There we are, that's all 20 slots filled up. Now that all the slots have been filled, we can look at this core rule here for workspaces. So if a vehicle is big enough, some components require engine rooms, things like that. And for a Mass 7 vehicle, some components do require one workspace. For our tank, that is the helm, the laser, the fusion reactor, and the heavy drivetrain. But we don't want our vehicle to have engine rooms and workspaces. It's supposed to be a compact tank. There is an option in the supplement Revolutionary Vehicles for automating vehicles. So if we take the automated option, that would reduce the number of workspaces down to 0 at a cost of 1,000 gold pieces per workspace. So we are automating 4 workspaces, and we'll note that down here in the options. And that brings our total cost up to 2,197,000 gold pieces. Looking at our original notes, we did want a machine gun on there somewhere. So what we're going to do is add a lightweight artillery component. A vehicle can have up to 5 lightweight components, and a 3-step undersized component counts as a lightweight component. So the artillery component is something you can fill up with a variety of different weapons. At Mass 7, it has a capacity of 60. We want 3 steps undersized, so 1, 2, 3 would have a capacity of 10. We don't have to work out what weapon it is now. It could indeed be a modular component where you can put on a a variety of different weapons. So for now, we will just add this to slot 14. So there we are, slot 14, artillery, capacity 10. It doesn't have an inherent cost. It's only the weapons you add to it that have cost. So we don't have to worry about that right now. So we'll just put a dash in there for cost. Okie dokie. I think the last thing we'll do for this part is work out some of these statistics. Vehicles have strength, dexterity, and constitution, and a speed and an acceleration. So let's sort those out now. In the core rulebook, we have a land speed table. We already know we have 60 land thrust. So looking down this column, that gives a base speed of 77 miles per hour and an acceleration of 230 feet. Just note that down here. And the continuous track component gives a land drag. Now, the idea with land drag is that multiple different components might contribute to drag, which results in a speed multiplier. In this case, this is the only component that's giving us land drag, so we can just use the speed multiplier that I put in the book here. So times 0.73. I'm going to use a calculator. 77 times 0.73 is 56 miles per hour. We can convert that to a tactical speed, which is 560 feet. So what that means is, on a turn, if you hit that accelerate pedal, you go from 0 to 230 feet speed. And then on the following turn, you can accelerate again to 460. And on the third turn, you can max out at 560 feet. We're going to fill out the ability scores next. So vehicles have strength, dexterity, and constitution. In the core VCK rulebook, that is under this ability scores table. A Mass 7 vehicle has strength 15, dexterity 8, constitution 15. 15, 8, 15. And the two components that are going to change that are the helm and the continuous track. So under the helm component description, under technology, a futuristic helm is enhanced with artificial intelligence or a neural link. The vehicle's strength and dexterity scores increased by 1. So that's strength 16, dexterity 9. And for the continuous track, strength is increased by a whopping 10. That's because strength represents a vehicle's stability, and continuous track has a good surface contact area with the ground. But dexterity is decreased by 4. So strength is now 26 and dexterity is 5. And finally, constitution is adjusted according to structure points and streamlining. Now, we don't have any streamlining. We use this basic column. We've got 96 structure points, so that is this row here for 80. We have plus 6 bonus to constitution. So the tank's constitution score is 21. Now that we have a dexterity score, we can work out the tank's turning performance. The turning performance is the number of 45-degree rotations the vehicle can turn in one round. At 10 miles per hour or less, that is 4 rotations. But you add the dexterity modifier, which for our tank is -3. So at 10 miles per hour or less, it can make one 45-degree rotation. Doesn't turn very quickly. And then at 15 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour, at each of those steps, the number of rotations goes down by 1. Now, if the result is 0 or less, it can still turn, but requires a recharge roll before it can turn again. So that's called the slow turn rule. So plugging all those statistics into the piloting maneuvers, we've got what happens when you accelerate and when you decelerate. Now, deceleration is 1,200 feet, which is more than the maximum speed. So we just say it can decelerate by any amount. And then here's turning. So at 10 miles per hour less, one rotation, 15 miles per hour, one rotation, but recharge 4 to 6, and so on. We've almost finished. There's just a few little bits and pieces. So dimensions, I mean, really you can set this to whatever you like. There are tables in the VCK books to give you a rough idea. I'm going to make it about the same size as a modern battle tank. So 30 feet long, 10 feet wide. Why not? Helm devices. This is going to depend on your game world's technology. If you're the game master, you can put in whatever you like there. I'm going to put in a radio communicator with 1,000 mile range and GPS navigation. We could add an autopilot. Oh no, I found a typo. We could add an autopilot if we wanted to. A rear-facing camera. You can put any of that kind of stuff in. It's all covered by the cost of the helm component. Crew is 2. Commander and driver. Damage. So if we look at hit points, it's got 450 hit points. So if a single attack deals 10% or more, so that's 45 points of damage, a slot is disabled. And if 50% or more, so this would be 225, 2 slots are destroyed. Vehicle options, that would be the automated option we picked earlier. And then over in the stat block, endurance. So for compact fusion, that's 100 years. You don't have to carry fuel tanks with you. It's great. And crew is 2. Cargo, there's no cargo space. You could add, say, a lightweight component for some cargo capacity. I'm not going to bother here. This next step is optional, but we can use these charts in the Landcraft book to find the off-road rating and therefore the off-road speed of the tank. So the off-road rating for a Mass 7 vehicle is 1. Continuous track adds 14 to that. That's 15. It's a futuristic vehicle, so that goes up to 16. And we have 4 slots with continuous track components, so that adds 5. So our off-road rating is 17. And this final table here shows us that the off-road speed is half the full speed. So we can add a section here, off-road speed. So the maximum speed is 56. Half of that is 28, so 28 miles per hour. We could even add a little bit more detail and see how the off-road speed is affected as continuous track components are disabled or destroyed. We just change the number of slots here on this table and see how the rating changes. So if one track gets knocked out, that reduces the rating here, and our total becomes 16. So it would be third speed instead, which I will round down to 18 miles per hour. This is reduced to 18 miles per hour if one continuous track component is disabled or destroyed. And then the speed wouldn't be degraded again until the off-road rating hits 12, which would be if there's only one continuous track left. I could change this to, this is reduced to 18 miles per hour if one or two continuous track components are disabled or destroyed. And then quarter speed, 14 miles per hour. There, or 14 miles per hour if three continuous track components are disabled or destroyed. Then, obviously, if all the tracks are destroyed, you can't move anyway, 0 miles per hour. Okay, well done for making it to the end of part 2. In part 3, there's just more optional stuff we can look at. I mean, right now the tank is ready to go. You can use it in your D&D game. But we still want that machine gun on the top. And I have some playtesting rules for creating firearms that we can try out. And the other optional thing we can look at is the different facings on the tank. If we want to thicken up the front armor at the expense of thinner rear armor, for example, that's an option in the engineering options supplement. Or we can have a play around with that. Okay, see you next time.